To optimize your camera for capturing a portrait image, you may want to just set the scene mode, or for more control over camera functions, you'll want to set the aperture priority mode instead. You may need to use the flash, in which case you'll want to know more about flash exposure compensation. You may need to set the ISO, and as always, set the white balance. I'll get started by setting the camera's scene mode. Turn the mode dial to SCN. In the back, press the Function button to access the function menu, and choose the top function right here, which gives you the different list of scenes available. Use the Control dial to move to the portrait scene right there. This will optimize the camera for skin tones, and it'll use the largest aperture possible given the amount of available light. Go ahead and press Set. Now the camera is quickly optimized for portraits. Zoom in to frame the subject the way you want it. Press the shutter button halfway to lock focus. Then, press the shutter button the rest of the way to take the shot. If you'd like to have more control over camera functions such as ISO and white balance, I recommend using the aperture priority mode instead. Turn the mode dial to AV. This stands for aperture value, and what this does is allow you to set the aperture the camera is going to use, while the camera automatically sets an appropriate shutter speed for a well-exposed image. Down here you can see the aperture setting is displayed, and I can use the camera's front dial to adjust this setting. The front dial is located right here, and just turn this left to right to adjust the aperture setting. f8 is a very small aperture, which will get everything from the foreground to the background in focus, and that's great for landscapes. However, in this case, because it's a portrait, we don't want to have the background in focus, just the subject. So you want to choose a wide aperture. f2.2 is the widest I can choose with the zoom at this level. If I zoom out a bit, then I can move this to f1.8. This will get the background nice and blurry. Now, depending on the distance of your subject from the camera, you may want to use the flash. Pop the flash by using the flash switch right here, and then press the flash button right here or the right navigation button. Now use the control dial to choose the flash setting you want to use. In this case, we want to force the flash on. Then press Set or give it a second to go away. Now, while the flash is normally used to illuminate the subject in a low light situation, you may want to try it out on a sunny day also in order to eliminate the shadows on your subject's face. Now let's go ahead and set the ISO. Press the ISO or up navigation button right here, and use the control dial to move this around. Typically, I recommend just leaving this on auto ISO. However, since the auto ISO is limited to an ISO setting between 80 and 1600, if you're in a very low light situation, you may need to increase the ISO higher than 1600, in which case, use the control dial to set this accordingly. Remember, the higher the ISO is set, the more grainy or noise you'll have in your final image. For this demo, I'll just set this to auto by pressing the metering mode to jump back. Then press Set. Now let's go ahead and set the white balance. Press the Function button to access the function menu, and use the up and down navigation buttons to choose the white balance function right here. Then use the control dial to move between the different options in this function. Depending on the light source in your scene, you'll want to choose the proper white balance. If the light source is fluorescent, choose fluorescent. Tungsten for tungsten, these are regular household light bulbs, and cloudy or daylight accordingly. By choosing the proper white balance, you'll end up with the most accurate colors in your scene. I'll go ahead and choose daylight, then press Set. Now you're ready to take your shot. Go ahead and frame the subject. Place the focusing square over the subject, and press the shutter button halfway to lock focus. With the focus locked, keep the shutter button pressed halfway, and then reposition the camera to frame it the way you want it. Then, press the shutter button the rest of the way to take the shot.